The Bir Halacha at the beginning of Orach Chaim tells us about Sheish Mitzvos Tmidius. He's quoting from the Chinuch. That 6 of the Taryag are Mitzvos Tmidius, mitzvahs that are noyeg all the time. So before going into any detail, the question is, how do you do 6 things at the same time, all the time, and also live? Also live. You're living a normal life. You're being mekayim other mitzvahs. Mitzvahs that perhaps take up your whole brain. Talmud Torah. You're supposed to learn and you're supposed to think of the Sheish Mitzvos Tmidius at the same time. How is it shaykh to have 6 mitzvahs that you're doing simultaneously and doing everything else too? All Sheish mitzvahs are mitzvahs that we would call choyves halvavis. They're mitzvahs in the heart. When we use the term heart, we're obviously referring to the human brain. The heart is a muscle. We're thinking about 6 things simultaneously and carrying on our lives and learning. How do you do that? So I'm going to jump ahead for a minute in the first of the Sheish mitzvahs. The mitzvah of Emunah, the mitzvah of Anochi Hashem Elokecha. The Rambam writes that there's a mitzvah leida. Leida, to know. Sheyesh sham motzui rishon, to know that there's a first cause, a first source. He's referring to Hashem, the Barei Olam. Leida, to know. What exactly does the word leida mean? A mitzvah to know. A mitzvah to accept. The Rambam doesn't seem to take that mahalach. The chinuch certainly doesn't make it sound like the mitzvahs to accept. What does leida mean? So it's a simple vocabulary word. Leida means to be aware. It's an awareness. And this really is the introduction to the Sheish Mitzvos Tmidius. We are talking about 6 attitudes that a Yid is supposed to walk around with. You know, whenever we make any decision whatsoever, we don't sit really and think through every aspect of it. Example. No, it's cold outside. Do you put on a coat, do you not put on a coat? What goes into that cheshbon? Well, do I like the way my coat looks? It's heavy, I'm not so free in it. It's cold. I don't like feeling cold. I may catch a cold. And what's wrong if I catch a cold? Cholila. It's uncomfortable to have a cold. So now I have this discomfort versus that discomfort. Discomfort of feeling cold, discomfort of possibly catching a cold, and the discomfort of wearing this heavy thing on my shoulders. And I'm thinking through which discomfort disturbs me more. Tell me, do you ever remember yourself making these cheshbonis? I mean, who thinks like that? If you do, I can recommend some people for you to speak to. It's not the way we think. The teretz is all going on inside us. We've already developed attitudes. Attitudes of what gives us discomfort, of what that sensation of discomfort is. And memela, when we make a decision, in a split second, all the cheshbonis happen. There are always attitudes that we have that are involved in our making decisions. The Sheish Mitzvos Tmidius are the 6 attitudes that must be included in your vocabulary of attitudes when you're making any decision in life. They must always be there. Every decision you're making, every time you decide how to spend your time, what you will do, what you won't do, what you will say, what you won't say, all the time, these attitudes are to be present. And then you'll make the right decisions. But this is what the Torah is machayev, that these attitudes become part of your thought process. They're permanently implanted in your thought process, and that you do what's necessary to make them part of your thought process. So that's what Sheish Mitzvos Tmidius are. 6 mitzvahs that really are 6 attitudes that you have to work to make part of your vocabulary of attitudes upon which you base all of your decisions. So the mitzvah is to make sure that you get them in there.